Re-
So.
Mhm.
Okay, so back to law, we will be sending the conference tonight. Thank you so much. All right, if we get to board that, gentlemen, we want to get smaller class here.
Okay.
To see, I'm here. That's been in the work for 3 years. Yeah. Okay, over here we have our witness, yes. Then we have the lead date, okay, and Mary Branch. Okay, and here we have Martha Rodriguez. And I have been able to see all right, our food tonight, we began in Grand Hill, we're going to have some. Well, do you think it's not peanuts? Oh, what peanuts? One, oh, I'm sorry, probably one. No peanuts, no peanuts, okay. We got to
Thank you.
and then Mark is okay. Mark is going to right hand along this year. All right, as you know, next month is June, and that's a big month for Conway. It's a big general meeting where we have all the awards. And we have the art awards and then the neighborhood heroes awards. And we basically have 17 heroes that we're giving them in the meeting so far. So we will be choosing the winners out of their program. We had along 17, there's 17,000 that we were going to sitting right beside. So they're kind of heroes. We thank everybody for getting them in as soon as you could. All right, the Beautiful Yards for Neighborhood Heroes is going to take place on June the 22nd. June the 22nd, 2023. Again, it's going to be at Tennessee College. We're looking at the venue. So I'm going to be in the back. We can't find it upstairs where you can't go. Okay, and the right here. So we're right up front. We're going to be the old gym there. It's called Johnson. And you want to call it the small gym. And it's right on the parking lot. We're coming off 17th Street. And then to the end, turn right. And we have made a right behind the People City signs that they compliment awards for the night. They're going to walk right in or roll right in to the road with those things. So again, it's on a small gym on 17th Street, and it will start at 6 p.m. So you want to do there, we want to do, and have it there.
They say Phillips Hall, and Phillips Hall is,
So we have those all.
okay, so this one says Phillips Hall. Yeah, Daniel College, Phillips Hall,
No, where did you get that?
on the table.
I'm sorry, it was wrong. They had before last week or something. Okay, let's not go so close. It's the small gyms on 17th Street. Okay, and he said it's a big news on top of there. In the size of the river, the boost, you know.
It's parking lot one, parking lot one.
Parking lot.
To the gym.
Parking lot one, the same, there's the right, and go there, and go down. Okay, 6 o'clock. Okay, also we have these bylaws that we have. For the board, and for the leadership of the Congress, the fight in the back there, so you're going to see all the people. And then, the board has passed it for the bar, but, as the bylaws for the membership has to get the final okay from them, and probably take care of that. The team's meeting, okay, remember, it's only certain neighborhood associations that are eligible to vote. And those are the ones that are being represented for 6 months, or 6 times during the year. Those are the ones who will be only ones in the. Okay, let's go on with our quality of life conference tonight. We're just going to have a chief. I guess he's got somebody graduating from the school, so they're tonight. I'm the only one not on this, so that's nice. Okay, so we have the Manny Torino will take his place. Yeah, come on here. He's going to act as. Are you that? Maybe sit down, okay? And then we have a. Remember him, okay, let's see, have my phone. And then we have. Okay, and all fun, but no, what
Hey.
It's getting.
It's better up there. It's slimming.
Because it's getting wise and read the shop. They all get wise. It's probably gonna be the candidates to, tell us, I guess what, your object is that quality of life in California. Yes, I think so too. I can say that, and, how do you go about doing that? What are the questions between the departments and us? Okay, and, how do we do that? This is the each one of them. That's a one day, that they are here in our city for a quality line, okay? And then say your question, and then I ask a lot of originally how are we okay? But here we go, okay?
Good evening, everybody. I'm Andy Marino. I'm here on behalf of the Chicago today. I just landed in Stewart Summit, so I just took over probably about one. So I'm still getting to learn a lot what people want here. And I'm just looking forward to working with you guys and, improving the quality of life, reaching the money, and also helping out whatever our quality of life team needs to teach from you and the city.
So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Tim Kavitsky. I worked at the police department for about 32 years. And prior to the police department, I came back to work part-time. I work part-time now for the city manager, Christine Ridge. And I am the part-time homeless services manager. The city has a full-time one of those. I work part-time on all matters homeless related. As I said, directly to the city manager. So that means that as we were working through getting our temporary shelters closed and our permanent shelter finally opened, we have completed that. For those of you who don't know, we have the Carnegie shelter now open. It has 200 beds. We currently sit at about 150 bed occupancy. Anywhere between 30 and 40 of those occupants are families with kids. There's another shelter within the city, which is the Yale shelter. I'm sure a lot of you are actually very familiar with the Yale shelter as well. I always want to take an opportunity to draw a fine line between Carnegie, which is a city-run shelter that the city has. Well, we pay money for. We run it, and then we have 0 community complaints. I'll say that again. We have a homeless shelter that has 150 people in it, between capacity to 200, and we have 0 complaints. The bright line difference is there is a shelter on Yale. The Yale shelter is owned and operated by the county of Orange. The city has virtually no input into how it is operated. We continue to have difficulties and struggles in attempting to have the county comply with the good neighbor agreements that it has established with the neighborhoods before it moved in. And we have tons of complaints from the neighborhoods. The schools, the museum, over next to you. I draw that line because the difference between the way we run a shelter and the way the county runs their shelter are dramatically different. And if the shelter is run well, community complaints and issues are virtually non-existent. With that being said, I also deal with long-term planning as it deals, or as we work through financial issues with the homeless problem. I steer the city's homeless interdepartmental team meetings. where we have members from every single agency in the city represented. So we talk about current hotspots and issues as well as long-term issues. For example, today we had that meeting and we continue to bang our heads against the wall. This is what we're going to do with the Union Pacific Road. We've tried many different concepts to try to bring UP along as we do any other property owner within the city. However, we continue to face walls, even after having sued them and reached settlement agreements. So today's topics of discussion was, what is the stupid ideas we can now try? Because we tried all the good ones. So what's left for us to work on trying to address the Union Pacific Railroad issue? And so we have these meetings and we talk about what can code enforcement bring to the table, what can a police department bring to the table, what about planning and building? Public works. When we all sit around the table, we have these discussions to see how we as a city can better address the homeless problem. We also talk specifically about hotspots. Those are hotspots that are identified by either your complaints, which either go to council members, the police department, or anybody else. Or we examine the complaints that come in via the MySanta app. We also take in data from CityNet as to where they're receiving calls for service and how they're responding to those calls for service in the community. So that's what we do in the homeless and departmental team meetings. I'm also responsible for overseeing the CityNet contract. CityNet is a paid nonprofit vendor who we brought into the city to provide outreach and engagement. It is a best practice. It is also probably what I think we would all like to see: informed trauma care presented to homeless individuals where they are offered options before any type of enforcement is taken. So when you contact CityNet, either by way of the police department or the app or a direct phone call to them, they will send one of their 4 teams out to make contact with our homeless resident or residents, wherever they are. When I last reported an evaluation on CityNet's response, it was approximately 30 minutes. That has increased over time. And we're seeing less homeless individuals out in the streets. I don't even believe that, but it's true. And CityNet is trying to spend more time on individual contacts to try to bring these people along. What we have left in our city is a very service-resistant population. We can show by data that a majority of our homeless residents have mental health and substance abuse issues. The low-hanging fruit of the person who just got thrown out of their house and on the street, or somebody who's down on their luck, all that low-hanging fruit has been taught. What we have left are a large documented amount of people that are chronically homeless, and they are extremely service resistant. So CityNet will go out, and I kid you not, make contacts with these people 20 and 30 times before we can get them to take what I'll refer to as the courageous step to move towards shelter. I say a courageous step because we're all creatures of habit. Whether we're everyday people who go home to a house or an apartment, or even a garage, or whether you're a homeless person, we are creatures of habit. We are comfortable in the lot in life we are at, generally. When we talk to a majority of the homeless people that we have in our city, to tell them, I want you to stop doing what you've done for the past 10 years, and I want you to change your whole life and try to do something different. When we have the breakthrough with CityNet, I honestly refer to it as a courageous act. We do very well once we get people off the streets into our shelter and subsequently through our system. But again, there are always buts and buts. City has a housing authority. The housing authority has housing vouchers. And we provide housing vouchers to homeless individuals that qualify, so that we can get them off the street. But you know what the biggest problem I have with housing vouchers is? That these people, these homeless individuals really don't have to pay very much. They can sustain with the housing vouchers offered. But out of every 100 housing vouchers that are open for 6 months, so every 100 that we hand out, 70 come back because they can't find an apartment to move into. So 30% is our success rate with our housing vouchers. So they say these things not as a way of saying, oh my God, oh my God. I say this because the realities are the reality. Sometimes, like me, I'm an ugly baby, right? I was ugly baby. Homelessness, it's an ugly baby. But it's our baby. It's not going to be there. We gotta figure it out. And there are a ton of things that need to be done for us to get further along the road. But it is my job, it's the chief's job, it's Commander Moreno's job, and it's Sergeant Montiel's job, who runs it. Don't tell you about that again. It's our job to hit the low-hanging fruit of people that we can help get into the system and move on. And it's also our responsibility to work with the people that are constantly chronically in the streets, who are lowering your quality of life, because you have as much right to a good quality of life as they do to operate how they operate.
Hello. I can't be as eloquent and educated as the other lady. But I met a lot of you, I think, the last meeting. You guys chewed off on short. I was traumatized for like a couple months. And they invited me back to college as an old man. That's why I asked for vodka this stuff. But for those who don't know me, Sergeant Montiel. I'm going on just 27 years with the police department. Been a sergeant since in 2018. Just so you guys are aware of my history with homelessness. The lovely ex-deputy chief here back in 2016 asked me to take over that big mess that was in the civic center. So together with some help with some other individuals, we were able to clear out the civic center. Sometimes when you do something well enough, you cut back and bite you in the rear, because I got to go to patrol for a year, and then my lovely deputy chief said, hey, Juan, guess what, we're gonna go citywide now. And I said, no, I'm done. He's got hair like this, and I don't want hair like this, right? I got what's left here. My wife's not allowed diet now, everyone will know that I dyed my hair. So I'm actually 25, so you know. But so back in 2018, 2019, we started doing homeless service and outreach citywide, right? We operate through a program called HOPE, which is our quality of life group. Everybody knows the outcome. We're soon to put it on trailers and police cars, so everybody's aware. But I supervise 8 incredibly hardworking officers that go out every day and with city crews and outreach workers, and to respond to any and every complaint you guys have related to homelessness. Like Ken said, sometimes we have great successes, sometimes we gotta haul people to jail. Sometimes they gotta go to jail a dozen times before they finally say, hey, I feel out of bed. Sorry, just quit messing with me, I'm not going to shelter, you know, when I get help. Sometimes they relocate because they don't want to deal with us, they don't want to change. But the one thing, you know, I tell my officers that with officer safety in mind, you guys are social workers for the cops. Right, it benefits the community, it benefits that homeless individual to be sheltered in these street services, and just be a rotating door. You know what I mean? I had a brother who was homeless for about 3 years. I get it, right? It takes some traumatic event to get you guys to change. It did with it. You know, fortunately, we got on the streets, but we did it, right? But like Ken said, you know, it's funny. I watch TV and you see the videos, the commercials of the family living in the minivan, right? The homeless guy who just lost his job, like in LA right now. It seems like the news is interviewing every guy that wants a shelter bed, right? Oh, I finally they're coming down. No, LA's been there for years right now. For the most part, they're all housed, they're all sheltered. You know, about 2-3 times a week, I'll get a call from a family saying, hey, I found my motel right now. Great, we got 40 beds for you, we'll help them. But we have a very, very, very service-resistant population of homeless individuals. And you know, when Ken and I tell people that, yeah, your homeless population increased by probably over 50%. People have a hard time believing. But what I tell people to try to understand is the ones that are left are the more of the in your face people. They're sleeping on your front doorsteps of your businesses. Just don't care. And it's not a fault of their own for the most part. I tell people because a 30-year-old guy who's never had parents has been smoking crack or dope since he was 10. I do expect him to succeed. Right? Unfortunately, it's our responsibility as a city that I take care of individuals. But then again, you guys also have the right to have a good quality of life there. So unfortunately, the chief has invested with 8 officers and sergeants to go out there and do that. I will tell you now that police have to be involved in this. There has to be a camera next to that stick, that carrot, if somebody doesn't want to get help. Right, because sometimes that camera is what forces them to get help. If you're connected to the county, you can tell the county that they still need to be involved in this. If they want it to be a complete outreach and engagement thing. Well, some people just don't want to be helped, right? You gotta kind of force them to do this. But as a sergeant, I oversee those 8 officers. I oversee our city crews that go out there. I oversee the actual street work that city net does and making sure that they're going to where they're supposed to be going and assisting the where they're going. As residents, I will tell you this, and I know some of you love to email the chief and love to email city council about homeless things should happen. That is probably the slowest process you can do to get a complaint handled. Because truthfully, it comes to me 3-4 days later, and I send an officer out. If you app that complaint on the My Santa Ana app, it'll probably be handled that same day, if not next day, because that's what we respond to first. Unless it requires immediate police assistance, where you need to call 911 emergency number, use the My Santa Ana app on homeless issues. There's 2 paths. There's a path for homeless encampments. That's what Mike did. That you see the guys with the tents, the big locations. A lot of residents don't want the police involved in homeless. They just want to come so they're going to see picking up this guy, right? Because police were scared. We're gray hair, we smell. They want just the 25-year-old social worker to come and talk to that. Well, just path the homeless outreach. If you have homeless outreach, they'll send the social worker city now and send them. If city doesn't have a problem with them, they call us to let us know they will one. But if you want that social worker to be the first responder, call city. I left flyers back there on the table. City net flyers that have they have a direct dispatch line. So you don't have to call us. and say, can you send CityNet? You can call CityNet, they have their own dispatchers that keep a computer log and they dispatch their caseworkers all day long. You know, case managers will help people and stuff like that. But you can also do it through the app, you can add pictures with the app and geotag your location, and if you leave contact information, we'll send you back a response. You know, if you send me a picture of an encampment, I'm gonna send you back a picture of a clean sidewalk or a clean location. That's what we do, that's when you guys get your closure with that. So, like I said, I mean, I love my city council, I love my chief, I love Ken, I love the city manager, but that is the slowest way of getting something done here. I will leave you my business card, and people say I'm crazy, but email me. Right, I got no problem. Hey, don't call me because I'm never in my office. Right, I'm a field sergeant, I want to field my guys, I try to help them. If my phone rings, I usually answer because I'm busy doing something. But if you have a serious complaint, your resident, your neighbor, your business owner, something like that, have an issue with a specific individual or a specific problem, and it's gonna take more than just an app response, email me pictures, email me information, I'll get back to you guys. And we'll fix it for you guys. I don't know you. I got 8 guys that cover 27 square miles. And within those 27 square miles, I have issues with Union Pacific, but nothing to do with the city of Santa Ana, but cost me a lot of money. I have a county of Orange, who care less about the city of Santa Ana, and I'm dealing with their problem. Right? I got state and Caltrans areas, so the same thing. They care less about Santa Ana, we're dealing with, we're having to deal with their problems. Right? But I want to deal with your guys' problems first. So if you guys contact me, if you get an app, you email, if you want to call me, you know, I'll call you back when I get a chance. But we're here to serve you guys. This is something that I've taken on as a personal mission for a while. 7, 8 years, I love it. And then there's nothing more rewarding, to be honest with you, that, you know, Ken and I and even Commander Reno, when we were young cops, we would chase individuals and we didn't fight with individuals, unfortunately. We had struggles with individuals. These are the same individuals now that are the same age as us now. And we're getting them off the street and we're putting them in apartments, we're getting them housing. And we're able to kind of sit around and joke around. And I still remember when we used to chase the that's not right up a little bit snow there. You know, we're job after this. So they should get me in the apartment. So it's very rewarding to see this. It's just, there's a lot of history with these homeless individuals where they're kind of like perhaps society, some of them, right? So we'll reach out to these, right? We'll reach out to them when we'll reach out to them when they have them. But, you know, if they take the care of it, the hammer doesn't go there. We did another job, charging on people because they're in housing, we want anything to feed them. And the great thing about the city, I went to a countywide training class last week. And boy, be glad you don't live anywhere but Santa Ana when it comes to how we do this, because they are all lost. They're so far behind the curve on enforcement. You know, you can't do enforcement on homeless if you don't have a shelter. We have. The city invests a lot of money in outreach. We have to do outreach before you can do enforcement. Right? The county probably has 8 officers countywide. I got 8 officers citywide. And just so you know, the county has no officers dedicated to Central Park City County. What we call the Central Park. All the north people reports the south. But it's amazing to see. It's refreshing to see how the city manages homelessness. And so like, I would want to do it. It's almost sad, but I feel like I need to go help them.
So what questions do you guys have?
I'm looking at this in copy of this on before the cut one of those on. Yeah, this is probably good call. Colt, yeah,
Oh, you're
yeah, the cut was that a lot there, but
for my guy.
I know you have like everything, so one thing, maybe right now, is we're having the damage, change happening on 4th Street. Yes, and we turn that, if we for years had a bad rap. And you see what's happening downtown. Yeah, that's it, they go, people like out there, Long Beach, disaster, Bristol disaster in LA. Then 4th Street can be the place to be, place to go, it's crazy right now, we never have it. I think it's sort of politics, but you know, they'll have a club, welcome to Santa Ana. Because I don't, you know, There's got the main focus there, because if I don't press them, then I almost had a jack up. People come south about the 30 corner, ever see that? Well, so maybe the UC get high with this. That Mark's got a jack up, you might go down that, and you see that perception. And I'm hoping somebody higher up above us, perception issue, because I went out there today, I see, well, this is not good, you come over. I see the infrastructure change happening, you know, pretty sure, I feel like they're doing a lot of cleanup there, but that home is next year's will be the opening. And I see downtown, work, I don't care what it's all around, they call it KTVS, yeah, white, for black, everybody's coming downtown. That's the outside, I say, it's gonna take us 10 $2. If you're coming down there, I'm gonna ride around, this is crazy, man, I call the shit, it was really nice, I know a lot, but I don't know.
So.
And I think the Air Street focus, First Street. Hey, and it's changing, that makes money, it's that, tax and revenue, you don't want to do this. And maybe you should have a program, look. Hey, these are the whole people about it, there's big improvements, we changes. Maybe we show we're doing something like that, but I think the Air Street focus. First Street. Basically, not too bad, but I said a little bit about credit union, but, I think it, Congress should be First Street, because I don't think, hey, Tennis Street, you know, they got by the park right there, they got that little corner right there, change that. Hey, Santa, fix it, they're all in the downtowns, got LA, Long Beach, Frisco, they have a major problem, we town that they have it. If you to change the whole dynamic word, but that first, you gotta clean it up, you got the rest of you guys, that's good, old people, all that. The traffic, you know?
First Street. I had many discussions around First Street. And we can talk about whether First Street is a homeless problem. Or whether First Street is a narcotics. And I've had discussions with the chief. The chief has assigned extra resources to First Street to work on the narcotics problem there. Sergeant Montiel had his crews generally go by there every morning to ensure that the encampments are cleaned up and the homeless people are moving along and what is there for overnight. But First Street is a prime example of what I say is a narcotics problem that is sponsored by people that are homeless. But that's why the police department, I don't want to speak for, that's why the police department is expending additional resources on First Street to address the narcotics problem. When I drive down First Street, I see people getting homeless. I don't see homeless encampments. This,
And it was this, that's how back here.
yes, sir.
Yeah, which is very effective at First Street, and we had a meeting on April 6th in the train station. I think Gilbert Emmons, we had 60 people there. I went down First Street, all the businesses, you know, were fine. We got more than 6 in there. We got Jack in the Box in there for 10. A few other businesses. I haven't seen any. Yesterday on the, especially the corner on the Clay First Street. Down possibly for the beginning, this First Street lava there. There's a constantly there yesterday at 2 o'clock. That's right. I mean, so literally one. Complaint about, I mean, that intersection is for the what do you call it? Ice store behind there, being First Street. People get into the parking lot, talk to the manager, and I can't control this. He's intimidated. Okay, so between east of Grand, let's say, it's by Lion Street, Lion further up, where the meth place, probably, right. I have not seen any improvement since, you know, I think it's supposed to have a 90-day work period. I think it's gotten worse. I mean, for at the beginning, I saw a little bit of improvement, but I don't know if it's summer now. You see the people that this is narcotics. It's narcotics.
And now it's going into Fourth Street, you know. Which is, and these are gateways to the city. You got the PND department there. The social security office there, Stan, who, these are people that are coming from other parts of the county, and that's the percent that they see.
So
And it has not improved.
I was at that meeting.
Yeah, we're going to retire. Don't you want to retire? I think it's six days around it,
But it's. Trust me.
okay.
Maybe got a partner job for that cop. I mean, because then I can go retire, right?
So what? What's that saying? We have.
So I'm not asking about, I don't got that even talk about homelessness. I will tell you this, when Ken said the XDC here. I personally talked to every other, right? It is a narcotics issue, it's not a homeless issue. Every single one of them have a place to go, whether I send them somewhere or they have local hospital, but they just choose not to because you can't do it in your house, what you're doing, at Berkeley. The 90-day plan we talked about at the train station, I think, is overseen by Commander Hernandez. So we are really, we're involved in it, you know, because we do homelessness. We're out there every morning, we're kind of clearing up, but then we got to go back out to 27, 28 square miles of the city. So I really don't have an answer for you when it comes to, what I will tell you guys that my guys, the whole team is on direct order. Every morning, it's First Street, 4th Street, 17th Street, Bristol Street, the major corridors that the community and all the people come to work. Because that's their first stops every single morning to try to get those cleaned up before we go respond to all the apps and the other complaints in the city. If you see under First and the train tracks between Stanley and Ranch, you know, I'm gonna toot my own horn. That was a whole idea because we had the homeless living up on the slopes there, and we finally got the city to go out and we're gonna concrete those slopes. And we're gonna put this beautiful mural on the slopes so that the homeless will have when it comes to that area. There is, from what I know, there is enforcement done there by Commander Hernandez's teams, kind of like on a rotation throughout the day. But I can't talk for Commander Hernandez. It's not my detail. Commander,
Does anybody else this one?
I do. I would love to get it there, but it's something where I know I know he left you guys, we should have left you guys contact information. There, and if you don't see, talk about it, he's a great guy, you know, he's not gonna shut you guys out. If what he's saying is not working out, let him know, and then he'll divert more resources to the state.
You know, a long time ago, I think there's some of the roads. Every time, 10 minutes. When we were talking about the between standing and the road. You used to be years ago, we were considered that people were complaining about the trash, you know, coming in there, they left and we would say, why are the police not doing anything about it? But we enter that business or that railroad's property, they have to take care of it. And so then we would say, well, how come you aren't getting this and you get it clean? And evidently did for a while. But where did that come out? Who's responsible and who takes care of it? Because that neighbor area is not taken care of. What is it really is paid out
And during the past is a thorn in my side. My kids attend a local high school down the street there. We've been trying for several years to work in Pacific to put more resources for example. Union Pacific, it's their property, they have a local police department, they have a local cleanup crew. We're trying to get them, technically, I can't go on the private property and clean private property without their permission or some type of warrant. You know, we sued Union Pacific, which required them to be there a certain amount of time to provide security, that allows me to expire. That's agreement expired. When Ken said, we tried a great idea about Union Pacific, let's now think of what's a stupid idea to use, let's maybe it work. But that's what we're in the process now is brainstorming me and there's a lieutenant from the Union Pacific Police, we're gonna start brainstorming some stuff where. Okay, it's not working. If you guys allow us to come partner with you, then we'll come partner with you guys. My guys can do this, you know what I mean? We can probably be pretty effective at it. So that's the next step we're at with Union Pacific. Same thing with Union Pacific, of course. It's a homeless issue, but it's a narcotics issue. Everybody, and I can tell you this pretty confidently, it's living on the facts. If Union Pacific has a house or residence to go to on maybe on Evergreen, on Standard, in those neighborhoods. It's just.
No, you didn't.
Absolutely. But they can't do those sides because. So it become their community. So we're working, we're engaging again with Union Pacific to see how we can work with them again. Before the next time.
So to add on to the story, Union Pacific comes out and provides cleaning 2 days a week. Even though you guys aren't gonna believe this, but they're out there 2 days a week.
Tuesday, Friday.
So they provide this cleaning. But when they come through, because they're a private entity, they can do cleaning how they want. Right? But they do the cleaning, but everybody from the press picks up their stuff. They move over to the sidewalks, they hang out on the sidewalks. And then it gets clean. Well, we came up with the idea, if you're gonna move over to the sidewalks and they're gonna come every Tuesday and Thursday, Tuesday and Friday. We're gonna send the police out there to talk to you when you're out on the sidewalks, right? So we've done that. We've done long-term enforcement operations. To try to keep the tracks clean. We do have some ideas, it's just hugely expensive. We tried to partner with UP to share the cost for that didn't go very well. We have tried to use currently Albert Nunez has been working on code enforcement possibilities and ongoing fines with UP, just as we do any other property owner, they're responsible to maintain their property. Right? So that kind of was moving down and that ran into a huge snag, and that's how well. So we have people that are living on the railroad tracks, and again, like Sergeant Montiel said, they're there because they want to do what they can do. And when UP comes through and they get pushed out, we try to deal with them, but we need more presence and continuous presence on the railroad tracks. I gave UP a plan 2 years ago. And I said, I'll tell you what we can do, I'll make it deal. If you come through and you clean everything, we'll assign 2 cops to the railroad. You split the cost for that. So 50-50. Then we'll put 2 cops on the railroad tracks every day. And they went, oh my God, that's too much money to go. We said, good. Hire private security to work on the railroad tracks. Just have them. You gotta have it there every day. As big as the city is, put them in the car, have them drive the railroad tracks every day. Anyone who's there has got to go. Being on the railroad tracks is a violation of the law. That's why they have their own federal police officer. But what you people tell you is, love you, but we only have 9 law enforcement officers for all of Southern California. So, even though they're even though they're a $1 company, they can't spend more money than they already are. But we took them to that. That's why we've done those things. And I would say the complaints that I get, for the most part, the largest volume of complaints center on East First Street, South Bristol, and the railroad tracks. Those being where I know I get the majority of the complaints from residents and business owners. That's where we, working on homelessness in the city, are really trying to focus our efforts. But like I said, it's an ugly baby. And there are no easy answers.
One thing that, I've worked jobs where I dealt with homeless, the better about my homeless, I see on the operate, I think the best college, take a social job, psychology class, after college class. I was gonna apply, actually, I would apply it out, where I worked at. But would the city be opposed to individuals or like, neighborhood watching, support groups out, because that's what the problem is. You guys are, that won't us so much, that's a kind of community. But I'm trying to tack for, I've actually worked for the complex law, they're that big stick, but ready to use it, stop quicker to use it though, I see changes because before they had to run the bill, they had carte blanche. Now I think the real life runs on the baby. The citizens have to get out, they have to get together so people care. And I think, I feel like, I don't be charged, I feel like it's a first party, and wow, the youngest party leader.
The problem is, the city always worries about any programs that they endorse.
Well, they don't have to, right?
Yeah, one of the big issues, that's, right? And the city plays an outreach group that actually has some social workers that can do something with them. It's problematic.
Have more.
You said that, not certainly, but city that people don't have it, that's.
Well, we'll see if we can- Yes, ma'am, you have a,
Well, that was a long one of my question. What, if anything, can the community do to help with this issue, nonprofit help, what can we do to help?
so, I'll say this, and then. Dr. Marcia, or Commander Moreno can speak to it too, but this is what I need to do. One. If you see a homeless person that's sitting on the sidewalk and you just want somebody to come talk to them, or even if you don't care if somebody comes to talk to them, but there's a homeless person just hanging out, don't sit there and make city man go out and go on. I believe that it's important to engage with these people daily and consistently to ensure that if they don't go away, the community is going to keep encouraging them to get up. If you find and you see homeless individuals that are in encampments, you need to call the police department. Don't drive by, don't let it sit. If you see trash and debris laying around the city, take time, use the app, force the city to clean up the things that you guys are seeing. Okay? When you sit over at City Hall and somebody comes in and says, there's a mattress that can sit on the corner for a week, and I can't take it anymore. What's more frustrating than that is, I don't blame you, I think you too. If you told me about it, send somebody out there. Tell us about it, tell us about just trash and debris. We have people that will go out there just to clean up that stuff. I'm a firm believer that when you keep things cleaner, it's better for everyone, right? Call city in. Don't drive by and say somebody else reported, call city in, use the app. When you see things that you don't like, report that. When you think the police department should come out, call them. When I was at the police department, the squeaky wheel gets the grease. If you have a complaint in your neighborhood about narcotics, we'll say on First Street, then when you get by and you see people using, call the police department. Even if the police department doesn't make it happen because they're busy for your complaint, the next guy next to that guy is going to be using when they do get out, right? You have to continue to utilize your city services by telling us what you're accountable for and what we need to do better for you. If you stay silent, we all lose. Go ahead.
Yeah. So, I'm gonna be the mean guy. Right? This is how you want. Don't beat them, don't give them money, don't give them anything. Sounds bad, right? But everything that you can give them, I can give them the shelter advice. Right? if, the way I look at things is, if I don't wanna send somebody to the streets with apartments. Because you're setting them up for failure because they've never had to live by rules. If you put them in a sheltered environment, they have a little bit of structure, a little bit of discipline, we teach them life skills, they can succeed in the environment. So don't, we're in Santa, for me, we've been doing this ever. Right, the guy wanted to retire, and somehow I haven't retired yet, so I have to say it again, we got one time job. There's not too much, because I put a kid on to play baseball or stuff like that, but. We go to community meetings all the time. The gentleman that was here for the train station, Betty, right, I go and I hear all these complaints. Nobody ever reports it, they're never happens. Happen. If my guys are too overworked because you reported too much stuff, I'm gonna go to the chief and say, hey, I need more guys, or I'm gonna go to commander, and say I need more help, or I need overtime, I need to do this, right? Happen. Like they were saying, that mattress in the sidewalk, right? There's an after illegal dump. The graffiti on the wall, there's an after graffiti. You can report to your city council, you can report it to your mayor, you can report whatever you want. It won't be handled for days. You app it, they can handle it. App it. I know you have a comment.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, let's, but report, because we go to the same places over and over again, because we're going to report. And then by the time we're done with those, they are again. Right, report, got all of it.
Let me add, because I'm just thinking with our review groups, we could certainly organize our teams to learn how to use the app and teach their parents how to use it. Is there an age limit on who can report? Yeah,
Doesn't mention it.
those are our teams to learn. Okay.
Here's what I'll tell you, yeah, you can report about this, right? I tell people it has, functionally, you can add a picture. It'll geotag you, right? If you take a picture from a car. Make sure when you go to the geotag area that you slide over to where the actual problem is, because, and don't have it from home. Because you're gonna see a public person standard, but you live in Bristol and Warner, that's where it's gonna tell it to go, right? So make sure that if you are doing it from home, you're adjusting the location to where the picture was taken, so we can know. Do it honestly, we don't really care, and if you want a response back. Be at least, it doesn't go, nobody sees it, we reply back, we have you before picture, we send you after pictures. If you report it wrongly, I can leave you a note saying, hey, next time, this should be a police call, not an act. Right, or it should be an illegal dumping and not an act. Because everything's a mattress, the sidewalk gotta be homeless. Am I gonna go around picking up mattresses or like, oh, we can do a whole thing. Right, so we'll send you a note saying, hey, next time, it'll be like it's happened, report it to public works, but we'll take care of it. Right, we're not gonna leave it there, just pass by. Ma'am, question?
I know.
Yes.
Do you really want my question?
Yeah, yes,
I heard a lot.
It's my fee for commander. Get you to talk.
No, I'm sorry.
And you guys all know, I think ahead as for possible things that could impact our community. What scares me the most, is all these people coming across our border. And they are busing them out of Texas, Mexico, Arizona, and sending them to sanctuary cities. We are a sanctuary city, which means that, we can have busloads coming in here, which is going to exasperate everything. Okay. I want a trip from the Nissan dealer to go to San Diego. And for 3 days, 2 nights and so forth. I called them and said, hey, what's this all about? Because we're suing the federal government, because all of the cities, Savannah, Orlando, West Virginia, Lake Tahoe, San Diego, Anaheim. The federal government has taken over all those hotels. And they're putting the people that are coming across, and we cannot have, we have a lawsuit to sue them, and we cannot fulfill the price that you want. Okay, so that means if you're targeting sanctuary cities, we're up there. They're going to be coming in. They're just being dumped. Okay. Dumped. And out there and just lost in the system. What are we, as a city and law enforcement, thinking about ahead? Helping to set up some kind of plan to stop this
Well,
from
well, I'm gonna ask that question, because usually the rate of the.
I can answer that.
This, a couple weeks ago, I talked to Pasadena. And there was a family from El Salvador that crossed the border. And the feds flew them to, EC said, hey, we're full. They get diverted to Chicago. Before they landed Chicago, Chicago said, we're full, we're not taking them. They said, okay, we're gonna fly to LA. Somehow that plane flight from LA landed at John Wayne Airport. Some good Samaritan finds the John Wayne Airport, gets to the city. Right,
But that's changing the city.
yes. So this family is now somehow the responsibility of Tustin, who doesn't have resources for them. Didn't know what to do with it, distracted them. Right, but it's crazy to see how it's coming so close to home.
absolutely.
So based on that scenario that I relayed over to City Hall, you guys are having talks about how we're gonna handle this.
We had
What's our
various talks about if this does turn into be an issue for us. Where we would look to address this problem. The talks are very much in their infancy. They also involve the county of Orange. But we are looking at what on an emergency basis that we could do if we do find ourselves with an influx given to us by the federal government.
Yeah,
We
because
have begun to.
if you look at,
Yeah, I was, somebody asked me that question about what she had mentioned. And that these are like activists, all worried about these people coming over. Very simple. If you're so worried about these people, take a family in. Make sure you take care of them and you house them, you do everything you gotta do for them people. Make sure that it's not coming out of my pockets, it comes out of your pockets. And I hear the brakes screeching. And that's the activists, they'll back down right away. I mean, it's something that people are so concerned and they don't have a pot to, piss on, but yet they'll worry about other people. And they can't,
Understood. But we as a city also have a responsibility for worst cases, right?
Yeah.
And so we are in fact having those discussions, talking to other cities that are also scared as well, whether the sanctuary city or not. Having those discussions about what happens if what happened to New York happens to us. What if a bus shows up and it just opens up and everybody decides to live out through the city hall? Right? What are we gonna do? We're having those discussions.
you're never gonna retire.
We don't necessarily have a plan in place. We do.
but you're thinking about it. Oh, definitely, because
What we can do as far as knee-jerk reactions, but we are having the discussion. Yes. ma'am.
I was wondering if the police officers, as they're patrolling, if they make phone calls out to Colt and to all of the various teams where they see, I saw that person when I went that way, now I see the person 3 hours later going this way. Do they report it?
So-
And then the other thing is Colt and CityNet, do they have an opportunity to be proactive, or are they just always being reactive, getting all of the calls in and having to go out address?
So, first question, I personally trained every officer in the department how to handle homeless. So they don't need a call. I mean, they do because we have the resources like the trucks and the traffic and stuff like that. I've now arranged to do every officer that comes out of his field training book, he goes to the academy, he goes to the field training program. And after the field training program, he comes to me for a day to learn how to handle homelessness. So there's no excuse for an officer to be dispatched a homeless call and not know how to handle that homeless. Second part of your question, Yes, I have a team that'll handle that, but I also have teams that are going to proactive all the hotspots that we know of. Through city dev, through complaints to the commander, complaints to City Hall, we're aware of all these, so we got guys going. The hotspots, we got guys through the major corridors, we got guys handling apps, sometimes I'll pull them. I have a real pet peeve, and I'll tell you this, my kids go on there, go on. Sorry for the use of that word.
86.
That's what you go.
I have seen Santa Ana go in and approach a homeless person. But and they've done their best, and you know what, the homeless will deny them all the time. They don't want to go to the shelter,
Yeah,
and that's the way they are, and there's no way you can drag them.
and the thing, what a lot of people need to realize, there's a couple things that really tire me. A homeless guy sitting at the park with his stuff next to him on the bench, has every right to be there like I would be there with my family. A homeless guy sitting on the stoop somewhere or right at McDonald's and just sitting there, he's got a right to be there as long as he's buying something. When we were young cops, you got caught with drugs, you went to state prison or you went to rehab, right? Now, you'll get more of a penalty for running a red light or a stop sign than you will for being in possession of drugs. And so we still arrest them. We're working with the district attorney right now to get them to file these cases instead of saying, oh, you're in jail for 30 minutes. Okay, I'm sure you're done. Right? We're the county jail is not accepting anybody on warrants. We're working with the county. My team, we had a DA in our office twice, talking to my team about what we can do to get them to file these. They're all backlogged because of COVID. The county doesn't want to open up more beds. Deputies. We're playing the county. I hate to say the county. They're still living on COVID days when they shouldn't be. And it's an excuse for them not to accept certain individuals and make them stay in custody. The court's doing the same thing. And it's a battle that we're fighting. So when you see that individual on the corner all the time, he's probably been in jail 5 times or sheltered 5 times. But that individual gets out so fast that before we're done writing the report, he's back on that corner. And it's frustrating to us because it takes hours to book evidence, write reports, and then be back out and see that guy. But what you guys are very fortunate in this city is that if you call about homeless complaints, when we leave, that area is gonna be like that homeless was never there. Other cities don't do that. They'll post for 72 hours, they'll outreach, they can't do enforcement, that homeless. I tell people, my residents in the city, and an area growth in the city, I'm in the city all the time, they won't tolerate that. So when you call, it's being wiped clean. And they make it back, but we'll wipe it clean again. We'll keep doing it, either they relocate somewhere else, or they say, I'm done with it. Go for it. I'll listen to what you have, go take it yourself.
I wanna say something, you know, like, I live in Santa Ana I was 21 years old when I came here. And I remember, you know, in 1992, you know, police officer to me, you know, they're doing such a wonderful, great job because I don't know if you guys remember, you know, that we was piled up of gangsters. They were shooting left and right, you know, gangsters, each other. And I see myself, you know, police officer running behind them like rabbits, you know, jumping fences, running on the roof, you know, like it was a horrible. We go through that because we don't see that not much. So right now, you know, like those times it was gangsters, you know, horrible. Oh my gosh, ugly. Right now we have homelessness situation. Whose fault is that? I keep insisting and I never take the finger out of the place. It's all fault. It sounds mean, it sounds ugly, but look at that. They start feeding a bird and you see what happened in 1 week. Don't blame nobody else, but blame us. It's all fault, you know, because every homeless person, they know where the food is, where the care is, where the roof on top of their heads is. But you know, if somebody come and clean my house every day, thank you, dear Lord, I'm going to sit down and do nothing. Don't feel bad because they know. If you go to, you know, like, McFarren and Standard, behind the 7-Eleven, Saturday, Sunday. From some church, I don't know which church, they come with tables over there, they bring, islands of food, feed them over there. They're like, oh my Lord, you can see all tons
So they
of
feed-
drunken people there and a lot of homeless there.
And so they feed them,
They
other
just-
cities, people that want to be nice. They come to Santa Ana and feed people,
Yeah,
so they don't just go anywhere else.
yeah,
It's like feeding the cat, it's like feeding the cat.
that's because they say we have to
I'd
help.
like to ask you guys a question. Go back to the way back machine. I want you to think back to when you, what year it was, how long ago it was, when you started to think, oh my God, what's up with all these homeless? How many years ago was that?
15.
Think.
It's been forever, it's been forever, it's been forever.
We had a really large statewide. A little for a while, but I will say. And you guys can tell me wrong, but I will say. That when the state of California virtually decriminalized narcotics. The homeless population exploded. Right or wrong? The homeless population was managed. By government. So when you had an individual who was in possession of narcotics, like George said, before you arrest them, they go into custody, maybe they get 30 days, maybe they get diversion, and you get some kind of a program, but they work in the streets for 30 days. Now, those same people, you give them a ticket, it goes to warrant. You give them another ticket, because they won't accept them at the jail, it goes to a bigger warrant. You give them another ticket for the warrant that they have issued, because the jail will accept them, and you give them another ticket. So if I arrest somebody today, they're supposed to go to court in 3 months. When they don't, they get a ticket. They get a warrant. So then when they get arrested for that warrant, they get a ticket. They don't go to jail, they get a ticket. Then they get released. That's another 90 days. Then they get a bench warrant, which they're supposed to be held for. But the county won't hold them for the bench warrant. So they get another ticket. So if I arrested somebody today, they don't go into custody in 30 days or 90 days. They don't go into custody in 180 days. They don't go into custody 90 days after that, 270 days after they got a ticket for consumption of cocaine, heroin. They still have to be in jail. And that's continue to say this homelessness problem is a homelessness problem, and I'm going to continue to push back and say it's a bigger problem. Do we have issues there? Affordable housing? Yes, we do. I think you could ask anybody in this room whether they think they make too much for this live. Right? We can talk about affordable housing. We can talk about the lack of mental health resources for the county and the state. We can talk about those things, and I think we will all agree. We need more housing that is affordable for everybody. We need more mental health services that is available to everybody. But I'm really trying to get everyone else to kind of come along and say, we have a strong state. But I'm not talking. We have a narcotics problem in the state. And we need to be in a position to give our law enforcement professionals the opportunity to be successful if we want them to address this problem. You want to do something, contact your legislature, do about that. It's important. We can't be mad at the cops for not arresting people for drugs when there's no keeping it for them to do it. But it's frustrating for them, even though I don't want to speak for them. What the fuck are they doing?
Yeah, we need bigger jails.
You mentioned about how you take the homeless and find partners for them to go to and then they'll go, who pays for that?
We use hard vouchers for vouchers that come to that housing.
Okay.
I'm trying to figure out how that doesn't change, doesn't. Going on to something you said, Ken, about, I think having Colt come out like in the morning and make sure the encampments are broken up and they're reading. And then you talk about reporting it on the app, I love the and half, by the way, it's been really good for a lot of things. Did that, my implication, I think I got on that was that we kind of, it's okay, not really okay, but they camp overnight. And then we just want them to move on in the morning, or the implication I wasn't sure of it.
So. To answer that question. Again, we talk about stupid ideas. Somebody could be a stupid idea. So now what's gonna happen? We're sitting and having a discussion and yelling about things like we usually yell. And somebody said, we're having problems where businesses are showing up in the morning. And it looks like there have been homeless people living there overnight. And these businesses are having a hard time opening. We're having problems where businesses are closing and things are one way, and when they come back in the morning, it's obvious people have been there and the place is a wreck. So he came up with a stupid idea. Let's alter the way that we do enforcement. Instead of doing all of this enforcement during the day, we're gonna alter shifts. And he took officers overnight to the areas that we knew that this was occurring, to arrest people for it, to push them to do other things, so that we could alter behavior. Either we don't want to get broken up in don't be here. Want to get or be here. You don't want to get broken up in orange, there was nobody floating on. But that's an example of, I got a stupid idea, let's do something different. And he did, and he had fantastic success. So much that we're looking to alter our responses moving forward. Because when you do something different and it has a positive effect, you go, maybe we can replicate success. So exactly what you thought, we thought.
But you guys need to understand, like, all the people at night, it affects things. So it's one of those things where we try it, you know, let's see if we can get research and do it then. I do these things to prove to people that it's effective, and you need the resources back to pay.
If I don't talking to people in my, some of the businesses in my area, in Mayberry Park. And I don't think we have a huge ad big issue there, other areas probably, but the one thing I've heard a few businesses say is that coming in the next day and finding like just the trash and stuff, and we're not, for the most part, I'm not hearing about a lot of damage or anything like that, just.
So I'll tell you, they're very fun. There was a gentleman named Leno. And airline, everybody knows Leno. He was from San Francisco, somehow he had information. And managed his corner, unfortunately, he passed away in the streets. But he was the guy that was talking all the problem with the airline. Where he found this stuff overnight, he went out like straight and stuff. And we even contacted his family, we were this close to his brother coming back and being able to fly and even that way. and the family backed out. It was very important. We would buy this guy clothes because we didn't want it. You know, it's like I said, this is somebody's child, right? Somebody's brother's, right? But the brother backed out, family wouldn't accept him on board, stuff like that. Unfortunately, you know, and I don't tell you the story. But there's a big that we should make very clear. Hope you're really clear, but it's just one of those unfortunate stories.
I can actually agree with that, have to drive to the target, there's 17 grand.
Yeah, see, told you that, where it gets to stop, you got to notice.
Yeah,
but you're thinking
that, I mean, our, the neighbors that live on the other side of the fence, it's a standard, you know, block wall, and they're asking you to check into that, and I'm thought about driving through there. Not-
Go by this.
What you do with Coast Mesa does, they bring all their bums and drop them off at Santa Ana.
That's not at all. You're really thinking about one right now. Yeah. Those things that are right.
Very informative. Very interesting. You're going to be so is access to the fan.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not, yeah, it's sometimes, no, you have one, you can hear it. Well, yeah. I'm not.
And just
Do something nice. Do the shopping, like minutes and the food shop down here.
I would recommend, you can call people one, right? That you will list the county these first, that they will be.
For the donate, all my business part of them, you know, we should connect with the stabilization foundation. And they will come in, they will come with the.
Yeah.
So if you want to like, collect maybe specific.
Yeah.
I will, I'm not sure.
Don't let the county pick it, don't let me pick it.
It's okay, we go. The last 3, 2, 6, 9.
That's me. It's all right.
It's sweet. I have a good one.
Huh?
At the GOP.
Headquarters.
Yeah, I see that, my little, the cute little brown one, that's my daughter. You know, she said, yes, I want to say hi. That's my little
I
girl.
love getting the responsibility, so we were getting.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna be very, you
Well,
know.
she's there for a couple more weeks. Thank you.